Whoa. All right, so let's see here. As usual, we're gonna wait about 5 minutes for some of our friends to come on board. Tonight is not my night. My night is usually Fridays, but I'm covering for Kathy, who came down with a little bit of flu. So it's gonna be a little bit of a quicker, shorter format tonight. Just gonna share a beautiful story with you guys. Gonna wait a couple of minutes, okay, you guys? Got so much snow here today, it's not even funny. Got about this much snow. In Calgary, Canada. If you're here, say hi, introduce yourself if you like. We usually going around 5 after. Another couple of minutes, you guys, and then it gets posted anyways, as always say. I made myself a beautiful chamomile tea with pieces of apple, cinnamon, lemon, and of course chamomile tea. It's so good. When there's snow outside, it's the best. Kind of reminds me of apple pie and a little bit of honey, of course. So we're gonna wait another 2.5 minutes, you guys, as usual. Introduce yourself if you like, if you have any comments. Highly appreciated. I am covering for Kathy tonight, the whom came down with the flu. My night is Friday, my normal night. So we're gonna keep it nice and short, but very, very sweet. I'm gonna share a story tonight, which I've never shared before. It happened about 10 years ago, and it's very, very beautiful story. I put part of it in my last book. I did not go all the way because of privacy, but it's been a while now, and I'm not going to mention any names regardless, so no harm done. Rita, how are you, my dear? Another 2 minutes, you guys. I bet you this is one of the most beautiful stories of forgiveness you've ever heard in your life. And an incredible story too. I mean, magic, just to show you how we're all connected and we're all one, and the universe knows exactly what it's doing and puts it in the right place at the right time. I mean, you will see. You will see. Yeah, I will never, ever, ever forget this incident. I've had several very magical or strange things happening to me in my life, of course. But this is one I will never ever forget. Another 45 seconds, you guys. I usually give our friends a chance to get on board. It gets posted anyways, it doesn't matter, but usually it takes about 5 minutes for everyone to come on board. All right. All right, guys. So I'm gonna get it going. It's 5 minutes after. I will share one of the most beautiful stories you've ever heard in your life. Gets posted as usual, anyways. So if you're not here now, you can watch it later. It's never gonna be very long. As I said before, this is not my night. My night is Friday. I'm covering for Kati, whom came down with the flu today. She sent me a message, Marco, I'm really sick. Can you please cover for me tonight? Absolutely, I said, no problem. So you guys, in my book of 2023, I shared a story. However, because of privacy concerns at the time, I did not share the full story. It was still a beautiful story regardless, but tonight I'm gonna share with you the entire story, and it makes it 10 times more beautiful if you'll understand why. So for those of you who read my book or my books, you will heard the story before, but you only got about 60% of it. So tonight I will share the entire thing. So here it goes. About 10, 12 years ago, I was involved with IT. I owned an IT business. I still do, but nowadays I'm retired and I only have a few professional clients. I take care of them, their businesses usually, but I'm no longer active in the IT industry as I was pretty much all of my life. So about 12 years ago, I was in my office and I get this phone call from a client. And this lady, she said, Marco, I need your help. I never met her before. Marco, I need your help. My computer does not start, my laptop. I go through the usual few questions. I always ask, how old is your computer, the brand, do you shut it off at night? Because that makes a difference. If you don't shut off your computer at night, it will take about a year of its life. Most people don't realize this. But it's the same as if you leave your car running in the garage while you're sleeping. Number one, I don't know how you can sleep with your computer running at night because they can catch on fire. They're very dangerous. Marcos, my friend. Marcos, you're going to love this story, my friend. I shared in my book partially, but tonight I'm going to share the rest of the story. So if you don't shut off your computer at night, you're going to cut out about a year and a half of its life. It is the same if you leave your TV running at night. Your TV is going to last you about a year less. It's common sense. For whatever reason, many people leave their computers, they close the lid and they go to sleep. For the life of me, I never understood it, but that's a different story. So I go through the same 4 or 5 questions. How old is your computer? What brand is it? Is the original hard drive or did you change it? Do you shut it off at night? And also, do you see any messages on the screen, the blue screen of that? Do you see an error, whatever? He says, no, Marco, it was working this morning, but now it just doesn't start. And I said, okay, do this, do that, remove the battery, remove the power. This is how we normally do a reset. Then there is different levels of reset. But the easiest reset without having to go there, remove the battery, remove the power, then push the power button for 7 or 8 seconds steady, then reinsert the battery, reinsert the power, and 80% of the times the computer will start. She did that, nothing. And I says, well, I'll tell you what, I says, can you bring it over? I'll see what's wrong with it. And she says, no, actually, she says, if you could come over, I'll pay you whatever, it doesn't matter. I need to write a very important letter today, and it's very important that my computer will work. And for the life of me, I did not understand why this computer wasn't starting because nothing strange had happened prior to it as far as she was concerned. Okay, so I get in my SUV, I drive over there. The computer is on the coffee table, a laptop. I believe it was a Sony laptop. So the sofa is, I'm sitting on the main sofa. There's the main window behind me, and the laptop is on the coffee table. So I get there, say, okay, let me see what's going on here. The moment I sat down, I push the power button. On the first try, ding, Windows comes on, the computer comes on. She says, oh my God, what did you do? I says, nothing, I just turned it on. So long story short, the computer started just fine. She says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I made you come here for nothing." I says, "Well," I says, "don't worry, it's fixed anyways." So she says, "How much owe you?" So I only $40 for the call. So now I am in the entrance, putting my coat on, but this is the problem. I felt, because I am a psychic and I'm very sensitive to energies, the feeling in that house was very, very strange and gloomy and heavy and dark. It was a normal house, not too big, not too small, a normal, probably 10, 15 years old home. What I felt was the air in the house was heavy, humid, and Calgary is not a humid city. Humid, but even there was like, I could perceive a dark energy. Something like, not a spirit, but negativity. Very negative. And I was I felt strange because I am sensitive to this type of things. I was going to say something. But then I said, you know what? No, my business. I just put my coat on. I go outside in my SUV and I stood there. Something told me, this is not right. You came here to start up the computer, to fix the computer. There was nothing wrong with the computer. But what was the feeling? What was the feeling in the house? I actually asked myself, should I go back, knock on the door and see if she's okay? Because something is not right in that house. Something is not right. But then I said, Marco, come on, mind your own friggin' business. Why do you always have to, counsel people? Why don't you came here to fix the computer, you've done your job, go back to your office. I was reluctant, but I left and I drove back to my office. But it was bothering me. It was really bothering me. So about an hour goes by, and my phone rings again. And it's now around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Same woman. I said, "Hi, how are you?" "Marco, you're not going to believe it. So my computer shut down and it doesn't want to restart." I said, "What are you talking about? I was just there an hour ago and there was nothing wrong with the computer." "Marco, I know. It's plugged." I said, "Is it plugged in?" "Yes." "Try a different outlet." "No." "What does it do? What symptoms is the computer? Is it making?" "Marco, nothing. Zero." "Come on," I says, "give me a break." I says, "How is that possible?" I says, "Marco, please, I know I'm going to drive you crazy," she says, "but I really need to write a letter now. My computer shut down and it doesn't want to restart." I says, "Come on." I says, Give it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's going to start. I mean, I was just there. She tries. Nothing. We simply could not get the computer going again. She says, "Marco, I'll pay you double." I said, "No, look," I says, "it's not a matter of money here." I says, "This is very strange. I came there an hour and a half ago. The computer wasn't starting, and then it started at the first try. Then I went back to my office and now the computer again doesn't start, and you're telling me that I have to come back again? Marco, please, the computer doesn't start." So I said, "Okay, well, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I get in my truck again, in my SUV, my Jeep. I drive over there, I park in front of the house, and I was just shaking my head. Put yourself in my shoes, I was shaking my head. I go inside, she takes my coat. She's now wearing she's wearing a white bathrobe. I guess she had taken a bath. The lady was about 35 years old, blonde, good looking, a very good looking woman, but simple good looking, but very polite, very gentle, very educated she seemed. So, okay, let me take a look at this computer. But something was not right. Something was not right. Once again, I sit on the couch, the window behind me. I push the power button. Ding, Windows comes up, the desktop, and I'm like, she goes, what? What did you do? Same as an hour and a half ago, I says, I didn't do anything. I just pushed the power button. You are magic. What did you do to my computer? I said, listen, I haven't done anything. There is nothing wrong with your computer. But because I was there, I checked a few things. I checked the errors in the background. I checked to see what was causing the crash. Not a single problem with that computer. Computer's about 4 years old. No problem whatsoever. So now, put yourself in my shoes, you guys. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? Why was I made to come back here twice in a space of 2 hours for no reason at all? But just like before, the feeling in the house was very heavy, very negative, very gloomy. I was actually very uncomfortable because I'm very sensitive to those type of things. I was very uncomfortable. So now, very slow, because I'm thinking in my head, there is something going on here. There is something that she's not telling me. There is something that I can feel, but I don't know if I should ask because it wouldn't be professional. Should I say anything? Why am I made to come back here twice for no reason at all? So as I am putting my coat on, and I'm going really slow. I'm going really slow on purpose because in my brain, so she's in front of me. She gives me the coat. I take the coat and I put it on, but very slow. And I'm thinking, should I, shouldn't I? Should I, shouldn't I ask? And all of a sudden I said, listen. I look at her. She's a little bit shorter than me. I said, listen. I apologize if I gotta ask you something. And she goes like this. I says, are you okay? Just like this. No sooner I finish saying that, as soon as it says, are you okay? She takes a deep breath and she collapses in front of me at my feet like a rag doll. Boom. She goes, oh my God, boom. She collapses in front of me, totally out of the blue. Oh my God. So I picked her up. I dragged her on there was the sofa behind where I was sitting and a love seat across from it. I dragged her on the love seat. I start waking her up. I go in the kitchen. She's like passed out. No strength. Like this, like a rag doll. I go in the kitchen and get half a glass of cold water, put it on her face, give her some water. I says, wake up. Are you okay? What's going on? Finally, 5 minutes later, she comes about again. And she looks at me. She goes, how did you know? I said, how did I know what? Marco, are you psychic? I says, well, a little bit, but that's a different story. I says, what's going on? Now you're scaring me. Marco, how did you know? What did you feel? I says, listen. What's going on here? I said, you made me come here twice for your computer. There's nothing wrong with your computer. There is definitely something else. This house, I says, I feel very uncomfortable. What is going on? What are you hiding from me? She calms down a little bit. She goes, Marco, sit down, please. I need to talk to you. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what did I get myself into? What did I do? I should not have done said anything. So I sat down and she goes, Marco, what did you feel exactly? I said, listen, I don't know. That's why I asked you. But I could feel that there is something wrong either with you or this house. It's very, I cannot describe it. I feel like shivers. I got a lump in my stomach. The air, it's not cold, but it's damp at the same time. It's almost like if you have a fog in the house. I feel negativity. She says, oh my God, you are a psychic, she said. I said, okay. I got upset. I says, what the hell is going on? I need to know. It's Marco. The reason why I needed my computer to work is because I need to write a letter tonight to all my friends and family. I need to write a letter, okay? It's Marco, I am planning to take my life tonight. I said, what? What are you talking about? She says, yeah, I am planning to end my life tonight. I says, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing? What are you saying? What's going on? What is wrong with you? Marco, look at me, she says. Yeah, looking at you, there's nothing wrong with you. What is going on? And I'm thinking, my other side of the brain is telling me, Marco, what the hell did you get into? You should have just left. But now, of course, I'm totally involved. She says, look at me, Marco. Do you see anything wrong with me? No other thing. I says, you're a beautiful woman. What is wrong with you? And then she opens her robe, a bathrobe, white. She did not show me her breast, but she showed me right here, right her chest, in the middle of the two breasts. Oh my God. Oh my God. Her skin was so rippled and red and in other words, totally burnt. She said, do you see this? Yeah. I says, what happened? I said, did you get burned? She says, Marco, my whole body in the front is like that. I'm not going to show you. So of course not. I don't want to see it. The entire body is like that? Yeah, Marco. She says, I cannot take it anymore, she said. She says, I cannot take it anymore. All my life, I'm 26, she says, all my life. I'm crying all my life. What happened? I said, what happened with your body? She says, when I was a little girl, 4 years of age, and this is the part that I never disclosed in my book, you guys, because I didn't want to involve a third person. In the book, I said that she pulled a big pot of hot water on herself and she got burned. But the truth was, it was her sister that pulled the pot on her. Her 3-year-old sister, they were playing in front of the stove, she said, and the 3-year-old sister somehow saw the smoke coming out of the pot, the boiling water. Her mother was in the other room, and her mother had tied 2 towels on the handles, on the pot's handle, one on each side, I guess so that she wouldn't burn herself. So there was a towel on one side and a towel on the other side. The little sister, by accident of course, not knowing what will happen, pulled the towel on the right side, and the entire pot of hot water fell on this poor woman's front. She got completely burnt. I was like speechless. I didn't know what to say. But then, of course, I had to put myself together. I had to put myself together because I realized the seriousness, the gravity of the situation. I says, okay, I understand. So your entire body is burnt. And I says, but why do you want to kill yourself? Marco, I've been trying to be happy all my life. She says, I I am a decent looking woman. I says, yeah, you're a beautiful woman. She says, I meet a boyfriend. We go out, we go for a date once, twice. Then the moment we want to get intimate and I take my clothes off, some of them run away even. Some of them tell me, oh, I'm sorry, it's too much for me. Oh, I'll call you next time, and then they never call me. I says, yeah, but okay, so is that why you're going to kill yourself? Marco, she says, it's not just that. The pain. I'm in constant pain. There's nothing the doctors can do. I did 6 or 7 surgeries, but she says it didn't really improve anything. I am constantly putting medications and pain medications. She says the last 2 years, she's a journalist for a major newspaper. She says the last 2 years, I haven't even worked because I'm so depressed that even my coworkers don't want to talk to me anymore. I don't know what to do. She says, I moved from Toronto to Calgary, but didn't change. I am so depressed. Marco, what else do I have left to do other than take my own life? And I says, hold on. I says, look, because you guys, I had to think fast. I had to think faster because all of a sudden I felt I had this woman's life in my hands. I says, do you realize one thing? I says, do you realize that me coming here twice in a space of 2 hours, supposedly for your computer, but then as you saw there was nothing wrong with your computer, do you realize that there must be another reason? She says, yeah, I understand. You touch my computer start twice. So obviously you're here for something else. She says, Marco, do you have a message for me before I go? No, I says, you're not going anywhere. I says, listen to me. I got mad. Listen to me. If you want to take your life, there is nothing I can do. You're an adult. The moment I leave your house, you can do whatever you want, right? Yes. She says, Marco, what would you do in my place? I says, I'll tell you what I would do in your place. I says, you just told me about all your negative things, that you cannot find a lover, that you cannot, that the men at the moment they see you half naked, they run away, that you are depressed, that you can no longer work, and so on and so forth. So those are all the ugly things that you are experiencing. I says, what about, tell me about some beautiful things now. She said, like what? I don't know. There was a piano in the corner. I'm a piano player myself. I said, do you play the piano? She says, yes, I do. But she says, I haven't touched it in 6 months. I am so depressed. But I says, think about when you did play the piano. Didn't it feel beautiful? Wasn't? Yes, absolutely. It was so beautiful. And I says, what else? What else? Well, my little niece, I love her so much. So is this your sister, daughter? Yes. And I realized that there was a sour note, no pun intended, between her and her sister. And I says, okay, so your little niece, and I says, so you would leave your little niece? And she says, but Marco, I also need to worry about myself. And she says, I believe in reincarnation. If I'm reborn, I'm going to get a brand new chance to redo it all over. I says, wrong. That is where you are wrong. I says, we come here only for one thing and one thing only, to learn lessons. This experience of yours, it's a lesson. You somehow orchestrated this experience into your life script. You mean I did it myself? Not directly, but it's the same as saying Clint Eastwood gets killed in one of his own movies. Did he do it himself? And of course, an actor killed them, but he put it in his movie for what? For the experience. So she says, this is an experience. And I says, not only it's an experience, and you learn a lot from it, but there is a lot more that you're going to learn in the next near future. She said, what is that? Number one, if you did commit suicide, you did not learn the lesson. You will have to repeat the entire experience from scratch. What? She says, you mean you don't get another chance? Yeah, you get another chance to learn the same lesson, my dear. So you will have to get burnt again and go through the entire thing. So she says, what is the lesson? I'll tell you what is the lesson. Number one is to love yourself regardless and forgive yourself. But number two, I says, there's something really bothering me here. She says, what is it? Tell me about your sister, I said. What is going on with your sister? And that's when she went quiet. I said, tell me about your sister. She's 1 year younger. She's your sister. She's the one who pulled the hot water on you, right? Says, yes, but it was an accident, she said. So I don't hate her. I says, are you sure? Are you sure? What do you mean? She goes. She's sitting across from me in the living room. Are you sure you don't hate your sister? Marco, she's my sister. I love her. And an accident. She starts crying. I said, tell me about your sister. Well, she says, I don't hate her, but I'm really angry at her. I've been angry at her all my life. Bingo. Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me everything. She says, she ruined my life, she said. She ruined your life? Yeah, she didn't do it on purpose, of course. I don't hate her, she said. But she ruined my life. I says, your sister ruined your life? Because she pulled the hot water on you? I says, do you see what the problem is? You want to punish your sister, I said. No, I'm going to punish myself. No. It's because you cannot hate your sister directly. But by you taking your own life, what you're really doing is punish your sister. No, Marco, I'm not punishing my sister. I cannot take it anymore, she says. I have to end this life because I can no longer take it. So, well, you're going to leave your sister by herself, right? Yes. Okay, so your sister, knowing what she did by accident, she says, yeah, she apologizes all the time, even though it's not her fault. So I says, do you see what's going on here? Do you see what's really going on here? You're going to take your life. Your sister is going to feel guilty for the rest of her life because she's going to know the reason why. Oh no, but I was going to write a letter saying, my dear sister, I'm not angry at you. Please don't feel guilty for me taking... Bullshit, I said. Bullshit. You are trying to punish your sister. No, Marco, I love my sister. You are going to make your sister suffer for the rest of her days. You're going to cut your life short at 36, and your sister is going to be in the corner crying about you and what she did to you for the rest of her life. Marco, I never thought of it that way, but that's not what I mean to do. But that's what you're going to do. So I says, half of you actually hates your sister. I says, I know you love your sister, but half of you, the ego part of you, hates your sister because although you know she didn't do it on purpose, but you want to punish her. I says, tell me something. Is she beautiful? Yeah, she's so beautiful. Bingo. She says, she looks like me. I says, in the face, right? But not the body, right? Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's like a supermodel, she said. Bingo. I says, do you see what's going on here? Please, re-examine the whole thing. So what am I supposed to do then? You don't need to punish your sister. You don't need to punish yourself. If you do that, you're going to have to repeat the entire thing. I says, in another country, in another body, in another era, but you're going to have to get burnt again until you learn the lesson. Marco, what is the lesson? Forgiveness. 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 And what do I need to do? You need to, first of all, forgive yourself. I hate myself, she says. Exactly. Why do you hate yourself? Because I was never able to be happy. I says, who's preventing you from being happy? Well, this is what's preventing me. No, it starts from here, I said. Who is preventing you from being happy? So I went on YouTube and I pulled up a video for her. And I'm going to show you the video. Just a little clip. Just a little clip, you guys. Of course, the advertising. Sorry about that, you guys. 3 seconds of advertising, of course.
Do I ever wish that I had limbs?
I said, look at this. Look at this.
I know that I don't have arms and legs for a reason.
This man is called Torso Man. I said, look at this, you stupid. This man has no arms and no legs. If it were somebody that should commit suicide, it's him.
I definitely had to push myself mentally.
I said, what is wrong with you? He's a torso, a neck, and a head. And he does everything. He even has a girlfriend. Look at him, you stupid, I said. You see that? And you want to commit suicide because some of your skin is burnt? She says, oh my God, Marco, is that for real? I said, look at him. Is it real? Yes or no?
Going up and down the stairs.
So, this guy, born with no arms and no legs, found a reason to be alive. He has a girlfriend. Of course, he cannot even have sex. Think about it. But even then, he found a reason to be alive and to be happy and to be productive, and he makes videos and he motivates other people. And you want to kill yourself because some of your skin is burnt? She goes, oh my God, she says, I says, do you have arms? Yes. Do you have do you have legs? Do you have feet and hands? Do you have a face? Is there anything else wrong with you just than cosmetics? I says, this is not cosmetics. This is actual. All he has is a torso and a head. And you want to commit suicide because some of your skin is burnt? She starts crying like crazy. Marco, what should I do? What should I do? She goes, what should you do? You were asking me, what should you do? Are you able to play the piano? I says, is he able to play the piano? Of course not. And you? Are you able to have, are you able to cook? Are you able to walk? Are you able to run? Are you able to build something? Yes, I am. So what is wrong with you? Are you able to hug somebody? Of course. And you want to kill yourself? Marco, what am I supposed to do? Forgive yourself, not for what happened to you, but for what you were thinking of doing, you stupid. Oh my God, Marco. Oh my God, what about my sister? Forgive your sister right now. Right now. How? She said. I said, so obviously I was not here to fix your stupid computer. I was here to fix this computer, I said. Yes, Marco, you just saved my life. The moment she said that, the room I wish I could show you what I saw. The sun came through the window. The room became so bright. There was a fog in the room. There was almost like a fog, cold fog. And when she said, you saved my life, the room became so bright. a sun ray came through the window behind me, and the whole thing just became like so shiny, and her face changed completely. And so we prayed together, and I said, you need to thank God for the experience. There's nothing wrong with you. Don't even think about killing yourself. Do you realize the gift that you have? Do you realize? She said, oh my God, Marco, she said, can I give you a hug? Oh my God. And it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life, to see the face of someone who's already dead, and all of a sudden you can see life coming back. Like she was a living dead person. Her eyes were dead, no spirit. The soul had already left. She was just a shell. She was going to die a few hours later. And when life came back into her body, the room just, wow, I cannot describe you guys. Just the sun came through the window and it was just beautiful. The colors became brilliant. And all of a sudden she's alive again. So what should I do, Marco? Starts by forgiving your sister, yourself. Call your sister the moment I leave and say you forgive her and there's nothing wrong with you. She says, oh my God, Marco, so you mean it's not that bad? No, it's just a burn. Don't worry about it. And so we hugged again, put my coat on, and I said, make sure you call me tomorrow. Tomorrow you must call me. Don't even think about it, I said. No, Marco, she says, I feel so much better already. She said, thank you. You saved my life. I said, no, I said, something else saved your life. I came here for the computer, but obviously there was something else. So I felt relieved. I felt so good. I felt light inside. The house was totally different. The house felt happy. I go in my vehicle outside, I smiled, and I said, Marco, you did a good job. Good job, buddy. I went back to my office. The next day, she didn't call me. I was a little bit worried, but kind of 50-50. I even went on the internet, believe it or not. I went on the internet, I typed her address just to see, because, you know, I'm also a human being, right? And thank God there was nothing. And so I said, okay, she must be okay. About 4 months went by, or 6 months. 4 months later. No, 6 months later. And my phone rings. It was her. Marco, how are you? I am great. How are you? I said. Oh, Marco, I am doing beautiful, she said. I said, okay, tell me, what's going on, Marco? She says, how can I ever thank you enough? You did something that day which was out of the ordinary. I says, yeah, I know. I says, I was worried because, you know, I have to keep it professional. She says, well, obviously you were not at my house for my computer. I says, I know that. She says, I don't know how to thank you because you actually went above and beyond, and you ended up saving my life. I said, no, I says, thank you for that, but obviously I was meant to be there at the right time at the right place. But I said, tell me about yourself. Marco, you know what? She says, before I looked at my body and I hated myself. I look in front of the mirror and I would just tell myself, you're so ugly. Who's going to want you? You're so unsexy. You're so undesirable. She says, I kept on putting myself down any way I could. I says, okay. And of course, I says, whatever you focus on, you amplify it. Says, yeah, the more I looked at my scars, the more I hated myself. And now Marco, it's not that bad, she says. It's not that bad. I put some cream on and it kind of covers it. You know, she says, I found some cream that is skin color. Okay. And she says, you know what? I got some really good news. I said, tell me. She says, I am engaged. Wow. Wow. She says, we're going to get married in 6 months. I am engaged. And I says, and what about does he mind your body? Your burns? No, she says, Marco, he doesn't care. It was just me, she said. I says, I know. It was just me that, whenever I met a guy, I would expect them to be repulsed. I would expect me to push me away. I would tell myself, you're so ugly, nobody can possibly like you. So the moment you take your shirt off, they're going to run away. And of course, that is exactly what happened. And it says, bingo. So how do you approach now? She says, I am beautiful. She says, look at me. She says, I am gorgeous. I says, exactly. She says, my body is not as bad as I thought. I says, I told you so. And so you guys, that was a very happy ending story that I never quite shared in its entirety because I didn't want to involve her sister. Tonight I shared with you for the first time. I didn't mention any names, of course. But what I want to basically end with is number one. When your gut feeling is telling you that you should say something or do something, because you see, guys, if I had left her home the second times without saying anything, this story tonight would be a totally different story. It would be a very sad story. But because I felt the feeling in my gut and I spoke out, I said, is there something wrong with you? That basically saved her life. So lesson number one is learn to listen to your gut feelings. It's never wrong. Never. Number two, she forgave herself. She forgave her sister. She said they're best friends now. They even make fun of it. They even joke about the hot water, she said. And so, do you see how beautiful forgiveness and forgiving, how it can change us? And in the end, without even realizing, sometimes you might end up saving somebody's life or your own life by forgiving. So we're going to end the year tonight. I will never forget this story for the rest of my life, of course. And I thank you so much. And I will see you Friday. Tonight I'm covering for Kathy. I will see you Friday. If you have any questions or comments or anything you would like me to talk about or ask to talk about, please put it in the comments. Have a wonderful evening. This is a very happy, it starts sad, but it's a very happy story. So be rejoiced, feel positive, and go out there and help somebody else. And of course, help yourself first. A big hug, you guys. I truly love you. You're my friends. And have a wonderful evening.